Welcome to Amazon Professional Development. Today I will be covering networks. There are three types of networks. Personal area network, which wirelessly connects smart devices within close ranges. Local area networks, which connect PCs in a limited area. And wide area networks that cover a much larger area and usually consists of multiple networks. Shown below is a home network diagram. At the top is the internet, followed by cable modem, followed by the wireless router, and all of the different types of devices that it can connect to. The cable modem is usually provided by an internet service provider, and the difference between a router and an IP address is that a router is capable of generating its own IP addresses, while the modem receives an IP address from an ISP. You can use the following links to check if your home network is secure. Here's some information about my own personal home network. I broadcast my SSID and have 3 wireless access points, but each of them will require a password to gain entry. But one of the access points is a guest access point, and it doesn't have access to any of the other devices on the network, like the printer. And the most vulnerable aspect of my network is that I have physical Ethernet connections. However, you can't actually connect to those unless you come into the house. Overall, my network is very secure because every access point requires a password, or you have to physically come in the house to access the internet. File sharing. File sharing allows files that contain documents and other files to be accessed by other computers. Factors that control the ability to share files are the devices that your computer can discover, other network devices that can discover your own computer, whether you allow access files on other computers, and if you let computers access files on your computer, which files you allow others to access, and what you are allowed to do with those files on other computers, and then what others are allowed to do with the files they could access. Precautions and permissions. Precautions to take when working with shared files are to assign permissions to files and limit sharing to specific people, and also to remove sharing from files you no longer want to share. Permissions that can be assigned to shared files are read and write permission, which allows full control of the files, meaning that others can modify other files and make whatever changes they want to. Read permission only allows authorized people to open and view a file, however they can't actually modify that file or delete it. And then write only permission, it's good to think of a Dropbox in this situation. People can upload files into your folder, but they can't modify any other files in that folder or delete anything. Ethernet versus Wi-Fi. Ethernet speeds typically range from 10 Mbps to 100 Gbps, while Wi-Fi is capable of 600 Mbps speeds, but usually performs around 50 to 100, and can reach up to 300 meters from the router physically. Ethernet is very easy to work with, very secure, it's cheap, and usually works with a lot of other Wi-Fi technology. Wi-Fi can be set up in 2 different types of configurations, and is included in just about every device. Domains. The domain name system, or DNS, is used to track domain names and pair them with their corresponding IP addresses. It is one of the internet's vulnerabilities because it can make unauthorized changes to redirect users to fake sites, so hackers will use that. And some of the top level domains include like .edu, .org, and .com, and some others. Internet governance and funding. Internet governance is a set of shared protocols, technologies, and procedures that are updated as network providers come to different agreements. And then ISPs provide the materials that are like data equipment and the channels that carry the data. And consumers either directly pay their internet service provider for the internet access, or their internet access is subsidized by the government or some kind of other organization. Packets. Packets are parcels of data that are sent across computer networks. Packet switching splits up a message into several packets that can be routed independently to their own destination. The TCP, or Transmission Control Protocol, divides files into chunks and contains info regarding those packets. The User Datagram Protocol is an alternative transport protocol. It's similar to TCP, but it has less overall functionality. IP, or Internet Protocol, controls internet addresses. And static IP addresses have permanently assigned IP addresses. And routers are computers that act as servers typically have those. And dynamic IP addresses are internet addresses that are temporarily assigned. So if I turned off my device and turn it back on, it would have a different IP address than it did before. And that's all. Thank you.